Hi everyone, it's Kasia from Tarot Map, and as promised, I would like to share with you the rendition of Jacques Vieville Tarot, and this would come from Gergely Bagameri. He's a Hungarian creator, and he also has created the Midnight deck before, which I shared. So Gergely has sent this deck to me, and he wrote that this is his favorite traditional tarot deck. He has added some extra cards because, as you know or don't, Jacques Vieville is a different type of a deck, traditional deck. It was created also around 1650 in Paris, as so it belongs to one of the oldest decks that we have, like Jean Noble and so on. So this is his all-time favorite tarot, French tarot, okay? And it was made of love and care, and he's sending me the same energy with the cards, and also I am sending you the same energy with the cards. So with Jacques Vieville, there is some, stories, theories. Nobody really knows what's going on. We know that Jacques Vieville is a pseudonym. He was active as a card printer in Paris between 1643 and 1664, so for about 20 years. But I guess it was probably happening around when the decks were created anyway. And there was a growing kind of like a war, between tax collectors and card makers. In Paris, there was a lot of card playing, and a lot of different cards were being used at this time, and taxes on cards actually represented apparently a very high percentage of state revenue. So because the cards were, fragile and easy to get finished, like destroyed, they were often discarded, and because they were also played by nearly everyone, depending on your, class and social status. At this time in Paris, then card makers, there was a big budget, right, and a big market for the cards. So the card makers were confined to a certain area because it was easier to, watch over them and kind of prevent them from printing like, undercover card decks, and to prevent actually smuggling of this of the undetected or undeclared cards, authorities apparently had all the old wooden printing blocks confiscated or erased. And it seems like the engraver of Jacques Vieville maybe had to improvise and play with the cards in some way, because most of the theorists, and I don't belong to the theorists, so this is just like a short introduction for you guys to know like why this deck looks different. But most of the theorists actually agree that the images in Jacques Vieville tarot were printed like in reversed, so that he used actually the right side of an old printing sheet as a model and not the engraving board itself. And the images in Vieville seem to be printed like backwards. And again, lots of theories. Some theories claiming that there is like esoteric meanings maybe that are hidden, and so on and so forth. But we know that in tarot history there are different traditions, that different Marseille designs and so on, and it seems like Jacques Vieville was influenced by northeastern Italian designers, like those type beta designs, but also it's really similar to the Vanderboer tarot, but the Bacchus tarot was it is a little bit older than Jacques Vieville itself, so maybe it's Jacques Vieville that was inspired later on by these Belgian producers or printers. So the French-Belgian patterns and just these different types of some of the major arcana are interesting in the, you know, French-Belgian designs, but also Northern Eastern Italian designs. Tarot de Paris from 16th century has similar, some similar designs, and yeah, the Bacchus Tarot. So here also, as you can see in Jean Flonois Tarot, the Vieville Tarot, his reproduction, which he actually used 2 sets of the major arcana, and I gave the reversed one to a friend, so I can't show you. I only kept the regular one. But he says that it seems likely that most of the Vieville deck was engraved using a positive sheet as a guide rather than the usual practice of tracing a negative copy. The image would thus appear backwards when printed. This analysis is disputed by some, but a definite answer is unlikely to emerge. Here is an adapted version marked in a corner, which I can't show you, in which Vieville trumps have by and large been reversed to provide a mirror image. The Marseille order of the cards has also been applied. These manipulations may be reproached as frivolous or arbitrary, but will hopefully enrich or at least not detract from the questions surrounding the enigmatic and fascinating tarot. And he writes here that he was the active Parisian card maker. This deck has been published circa 1650, the original version, and here are Vieville's 22 trumps as they appear in the only known copy, which is preserved in the French National Library. A portion of reminiscent of the Marseille tradition, while others correspond to an iconography observed in 18th century tarots from Brussels and Rouen, I don't know how to pronounce this. The Vieville tarot could perhaps represent a confluence of 2 traditions, Marseille and one inherited more or less directly from the tradition popular in northern Italy. So this is information from the Jean Flonois tarot of Jacques Vieville, but we are going to focus on Jacques Vieville by Gergely, and he always creates his own boxes as well, so you know they kind of a bit flimsy, but I appreciate they probably hand folded and just simple box, but they do, you know, they do the duty. So the paper, his paper is amazing. It's like such cool to shuffle. It's the same paper, I think it feels the same as his Midnight Tarot deck, and because I haven't shuffled this deck yet, I'm just going to show you how incredible the shuffling experience is. They get like amazing band and amazing bridge. Oh, it's just wonderful. And yeah, the colors, there's like no lamination, but they well preserved, you know, they're not like textury, plasticky, papery. They have this amazing feel to them. So his cards are really great compared to, for example, Bacchus Tarot, which is a total, like, you know, it's just like feels a little bit maybe not like a total paper card, but it's got a little bit of laminated back. But oops, see, if I bend it, like it just breaks, it falls like a paper. So I don't want to do this. All right, so right now we are going to take a look at his deck, and I wanted to show you the similarities. And Gergely wrote that he actually printed the images right side up. So if we look now at the Magician in the right, again, the right side up, Vieville from Jean Flonois, they will be exactly the same as Gergely's version, okay? And when we compare the size of the cards with a regular tarot deck, his cards are tiny little bit smaller than the regular 7 by 12 centimeters, but it's nearly the same as the regular tarot, whereas these guys are a little bit bigger. So this is the kind of original Vieville reversed backwards image, and you can see how, you know, if you were to print it, that would come from right side up. And this is Gergely's version, where the images were reversed and produced as the right side up. Yeah, so this is a magician, and you can also see that he's changed the colors. I mean, we don't know exactly what the traditional colors were. Each of these creators has introduced a different coloring to their own decks. Also in Vanderboer we have this crazy Captain Vanderboer as High Priestess, which, you know, it's not happening really in Vieville tarot deck, so she's much more Marseille type High Priestess, right? So we have the Empress here, there's the Emperor, and as in Marseille tarot, the Empress looks straight at you, and the Emperor is kind of, you know, looking at her. And there's the Hierophant. I love the columns, so I'm curious in Vieville's tarot. Yeah, it's actually the same. I never noticed these columns before. They look like, I don't know, some goddess, old goddess stuff going on there. The Lovers. Then there is the Chariot. It's interesting, the faces of the horses, of the chariots. The Justice looks very much Marseille, but there's a lot of differences. So that's interesting here, that the Hermit doesn't really hold onto a lantern. It holds like to like piece of his cloth, of his robe. And the Wheel of Fortune. Pretty much Marseille, just this interesting kind of, it feels like it's a swing. And then we have the Strength. I just love these designs. I love the colors he used as well. The Hangman, in the other version, you know, the Hangman was kind of, the reverse was other way around. As you can notice, there's no numbers here on Gergely's version. The Death. Also in the previous, the original, the Death appeared the other way around as well. I'm curious in Vanderboer, the Death, if let's just see. Yeah, Death is going the other way around as well. So that's how the traditional Vieville image appeared, as if upside down. And what's interesting, well, maybe we get there to these images, but what's interesting, Gergely is providing us with double imagery here. So here we have the Temperance, which also is a different card. Temperance, she holds one jar, and she also holds like a staff, as you can see, and there's Sol Fama written on the cartouche, on the ribbon, and Sol Fama would be the only fame, and the meaning could be the only virtue to be remembered for, or the only virtue to live by, or something like this. So you know, that's quite unusual image for Temperance, because we don't really get these Temperance cards in other decks much. This Devil card, it's very interesting, takes us back to like late medieval traditions. So it features like a demon with many faces all over the body, and the creature is seen sideways, and there's no additions of those small humans like in Tarot de Marseille, right? Same here in Jean Flournoy's version. So they're very similar, I actually really love both. And here we have this different card. So what Gergely did, actually, he already provided us with two versions of the Devil. So we get the Vieville Devil and like traditional kind of Marseille Devil, but a little bit different anyway, because the traditional Marseille devil looks straight at you, right? Whereas here we have this devil looking towards the future. And this is the tower card. So traditional Vieville tower is this beautiful tree. And you have this kind of, I don't know if it's a rain or fire or whatever, it falls down. It doesn't seem as scary as the traditional Marseille tarot cards, like the House of God, right? It's a little bit different. So that's an interesting comparison. The tower, actually, before I move on, was called the lightning, even though we don't really see the lightning, but I don't know, I just always imagine it's the rain of fire that falls down. And then we get, so did I put these cards here? Let's just take them. So that was the other devil. And he sees, he says here that you can choose which one you prefer to leave or use, the original or the traditional ones. So the tower in the traditional deck, and then we have the star. So in Vieville original, the star is an astronomer. The star is also very the same in Tarot of Paris, Tarot de Paris, and also in Vanderboer tarot. It's exactly the same. So the Flemish tarots, the Belgian ones, which maybe were also influenced by the Northern Italian tarots. See, the Temperance has this, so this would be the original on the other side, that the regular Temperance here, the devil would be going the other way around. Oh, and here in the Flemish tarot, we actually get this fire going on, whereas in here we don't really see it, right? We don't see those like arrows. This feels much more like tower. This one feels a bit more hopeful for some reason to me. And then the astronomer, the star, is also exactly the same in the Flemish deck. And the Marseille, traditional Marseille, we know how the star looks because that's influence and we see it all the time. And then the moon is also gorgeous. So we got also provided with the Marseille, traditional Marseille moon card, and that Vieville original moon card with the weaver, and that's the common association of Luna, moon, being a female or being connected to the feminine, even though in Slavic cultures we often connected moon to the masculine, so that's also interesting. And the sun card is a little bit reminds us of Rider-Waite-Smith, right? Because it's the person on a horse, and then there's also the traditional Marseille-looking sun card. And then the Judgment is in all the Flemish, a little bit different, as we can see. I actually love that Flemish deck, it's so cool. And then a Vieville deck, it just looks like this. And then the World card, it's totally different actually in the Flemish deck. So, you know, it seems like Vieville was a compilation of all these different styles. And this seems to be, you know, it's an older deck, so I mean, but you never know, you know. Sometimes I'm thinking, so what that it's older when it was produced, but what influenced a deck? What, you know, what was the influence? So this one looks a little bit more like Tarot de Marseille and the later decks. It's just interesting and beautiful. And what I love about those old decks, that it's a non-descriptive human being, right? When you actually connect and combine and create a union within yourself of all the elements, and that's when you move through the gates, right? That's when you finish the journey. And then we have the Fool, which in Flemish tarot and in the original Vieville, it would be walking the other way around. Okay, so that's an interesting and really beautiful look at all the major arcana here, with different colors, as you can see, but how similar to that Flemish style of decks, and or how similar the Flemish decks are to the Vieville tarot, right? So then we go with all the minors. I'm not going to just like spent crazily a big amount of time on them because, you know, they pip decks, but you got Jacques Vieville in, as usual, like in the two of coins. And then we go with these beautiful images, beautiful colors, clear reader, good shuffler, really beautiful paper, and quite traditional Tarot de Marseille court cards and the minors, right? So we get the Knight, the Queen, and the King, which is really kind of lovely. And then we have Ace of Cups. So cups are the same. Just go through them quickly. 5, 6. So you're familiar with how the elements are placed. I love it. Just traditional. And then there's Page of Cups, Knight of Cups, Queen of Cups, and the King. And then we have the Ace of Swords. So swords are also fairly regular, like in this one is a little bit different. I don't think Three of Swords gets any plans in the other traditional convert deck. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 2 of Swords for the 10 of Swords. And then we have the Page. And I love how Gergely always, like, his figures are quite expressive. Queen, King, and then we have Wands at the end. 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, this is not symmetrical. Like skewed. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 of Wands. And we got Page, Knight, Queen, and the King. So this is Jacques Vieville by Gergely, Midnight Tarot. And let's go and shuffle this baby. So as I said, amazing band, amazing bridging, like it's like a slow-mo shuffling, you know, it takes its time when you bridge. It does this calculated bridging. It's really great. You know, it's a pleasure to shuffle decks like this, like your hands don't hurt and they're just great to play with. So this would be how the deck looks when we put a couple of cards together. And you know that I have Tarot de Marseille class on my website. I would suggest this for the beginners because I explain a lot about like major arcana and combination, connection, and looking at major arcana as a journey. And then also give sample readings. I show you what the numbers mean in the pip decks and how we can connect cards together based on what I learned from Enrique Enriquez and Camelia Elias. So yeah, take a look if you're interested. It's $33, so it won't break the bank and last around 2 hours. There's a couple of different parts to it. So yes, I said I recommend it to people who are interested, want to learn a little bit more. But I also have a lot of free videos on my YouTube channel. There's a playlist called Tarot de Marseille playlist, and yeah, I invite you to take a look also at this one because I was fascinated at some point by traditional tarot decks, and I love the simplicity of it and how the elements flow into one another. None other deck really does that as well as Tarot de Marseille. So this is Jacques Vieville by Midnight Tarot by Gergely Bagameri, and you can get it on his website. I'm going to link the information below in the description box. Let me know, do you like Tarot de Marseille? What do you feel about these decks? Can you read them? I love them and I love reading with them. and I stretched and practiced and stretched how I read tarot based on learning how to read Tarot de Marseille. So much love to you. Thank you for watching. Bye.